with my little brother.
Good morning.
We're on our way. And we're still on, well, we lost 10 minutes already, but I had a good croissant, so that's good.
Appelflap.
In the corner.
I had no croissant.
Oh yeah, appelflap. We actually had an appelflap from yesterday, which we felt, it was like...
We were deeply...
yeah.
Yes, yeah.
Deeply.
Yeah.
The validity date, actually the time that it was still good to eat was, we were 10 minutes before they had thrown it away. So we saved 2 appelflappen from the garbage bin.
Garbage can.
So we feel very proud of ourselves.
Yes, we are ecological. Travelers.
Very, very. We leave a low footprint.
Yes, we fixed our carbon footprint for today.
Exactly. So we're not talking about the fact that we're like in the car for 10 hours getting
It was a really big appelflap.
Yes, exactly. Alright, so Osnabrück, here we come.
Yay.
Sailing wind rose.
Hey folks, welcome. Yes, I'm in the south of France again. It's midwinter and it's bloody hot actually. But come a bit closer. I'll start telling you about an amazing experience with Windpilot all the way down in Hamburg. So as I'm sitting outside, there's some background noise of cars, which is actually perfect because this episode starts in the car with me, my brother, and some Dutch-German humor. Wir sind angekommen in Deutschland! Nordrhein-Westfalen! Juhu!
Toll!
Ah, das ist ja schön.
50?
Ja, 50.
Aus dem Stadt?
In dem Stadt.
Ja, genau. Und 100, wenn die da raus bin.
Ja.
Und 130 auf dem Autobahn.
Aber, das ist blau. So, das meint, dass sie so,
Die rijden nog steeds goed eruit.
so schnell fahren könnte, wie sie können.
Waarom? Daar staat 130.
Wenn sie wünschen. And now I'm realizing that everything is in German, and you don't speak German. Well, as you have learned, we also don't speak German, but we give it a try because we like the German language. But it's a bit schwierig. But the fun part is, so in the German Autobahn, you can go as fast as you
There.
There is what Igor said, or want to drive, and I said as fast as the car can go.
Yes.
And I actually think Igor's approach is a bit more sane and safe. But
Yes.
For now, we're
good.
on the 100 kilometers an hour road, I guess. We're closing in. We're now in the city center of Hamburg.
10 seconds and counting.
10:58. Ah, and this I saw from the picture. Look, it's the red house. Very good. This is it. This is it.
Yay.
This is it. We
Oh.
made it.
Woo.
Yes, yes. I don't hear anything, but I think it on the inside. So Peter, super welcoming, opened the door for us and brought us some coffee, some cookies. And after a bit of chatting about his history, we actually got straight to business, and Peter explained us how the Windpilot actually works.
It's a self-steering device to perform your boat. If you are obedient to the rules of this kind of unit, you can go asleep. Or you do not even need to participate to the sailing, because the boat will do this automatically even without of you. So
That sounds good.
a magical situation where the majority of people who are not acquainted and not used to use this kind of stuff, they are amazed about the benefit of this kind of stuff. And normally the time it will take you to experience the kind of use is about a couple of minutes, because it's just following the physical rules of an apparent wind angle you have decided to head for.
So the apparent wind angle is actually the angle of wind that you get with speed. So let's say you're sailing, you have the wind midship, and then because you're making speed, the wind appears to come in a little bit more from the front. So if you set your apparent wind angle, the wind vane will take over.
And this is the angle the unit takes advantage at the same time. So you're adjusting the wind vane to the same angling of the boat towards the apparent wind angles.
The apparent wind angle might be, let's say, 40 degrees. Then the wind vane also have to be 40 degrees. Because if you then change position, the wind vane will catch wind on either side.
If this angling is being set, we'll say half winds, then you attach the ropes to the tiller or the wheel. And now the following is going to happen. If the boat is changing the apparent wind angle, tending to the wind or tending off the wind, there will be a steering signal given from the vane, which will be transferred via the bevel gear towards an angling of the servo pendulum rudder. And it's the power of the water motion which brings the servo pendulum arm to the side. And it's the long lever of the servo pendulum from the axis until the lower end of the rudder, which is achieving a huge power supply to turn your main rudder. So basically the steering signal is being given by the vane, is being improved and amplified by the angling of the servo pendulum rudder, which is generating the power to steer the boat.
So there you have it. The general explanation of the Windpilot. Obviously there are also some more specific questions, and one of these questions is there always enough power to steer the boat?
So basically, if the lever is about 2 meters, which is the average length of the lever on your unit is roughly a little bit more than 2 meters, this will mean the power supply you can achieve by this kind of long lever will be able to generate about 250 kilo in pulling on your boat's main rudder.
Which should be more than enough.
More than enough. As I'm saying, the actual power you need to turn your main rudder to hold the boat on a given course will be roughly about maximum 6, 7, 8 kilo, because otherwise you will complain because of weather helm, which makes you decide to take care for trim, balancing, changing of sails. So basically, the entire power supply the unit will be able to provide is being reduced to a pulling power of less than about 10 kilo.
So plenty of power to actually steer the boat in most circumstances. But obviously it's always a balance between steering and setting the right sail.
The unit is teaching you to care for your part of the job. We'll say it's teaching you if the boat is under control in a nicely balanced way, yes or no. And this will be visualized, being demonstrated to you on a tiller. It's very easy. If you're always having the need to pull the tiller until here,
They're not balanced.
Visually it will tell you there is a need for trim. As I'm always saying, the unit tells you what to do, and if the boat is out of trim, it will tell you. And if you, after some time, will realize that the servo pendulum is always acting far at the one side,
You're not trimmed.
you're considering, and after some time, you have the time, because you do not have anything to do, just to look about the unit, what it's doing or what it is not.
Sailing is about setting the right amount of sails all the time, and sometimes counterintuitively it is a little bit different than you think, and it is also about when you have to change the sails.
Under normal circumstances, people think if they are carrying too much of sail canvas, they consider to be fast, but they will getting taught that this is just an imagination, because being fast, carrying too much of sail, always will be followed by the need of a certain counter rudder angle on the main rudder, which is nothing else than sailing with the handbrakes on. So it is your lesson. You will learn within minutes that reducing sails will normally bring the speed up rather than down.
So carrying the right amount of sails is one thing, and for that I ordered a working jib. Also, the way you carry them is important. And on our trip from Vlieland to IJmuiden, I already noticed we were sailing on our mainsail mostly. And Peter actually explained that it would be better to use the head sail or head sails even, if you have to.
In the trade winds and the heeling and the yawing of the boat relative to the following seas, which are long and high perhaps, will always get a situation that the mainsail, if you are running on mainsail and head sail, you are coming in a situation that due to the jawing angling of the boat, the mainsail will shadow the head sail. Flapping. Getting the boat out of trim, because the mainsail has a huge lever, will bringing or tending the boat to go into the wind. No good, because you need to steer hard, having to effect a wide angling to get the boat back on the desired course. Saying, in a practical terms, the horses pull in front. On courses like this, take down the mainsail, use the big front sail, head sail, and the horses pull in front, and the boat can be maintained on the desired course with a minimum action on the main rudder. If this kind of gear has to perform your boat, and your boat is a heavy displacement boat compared to the size, it will always need to steer a small rudder angle. And if there is a need of a wider angle, you are the person in charge.
Something to look out for. Do I have the sails trimmed right? Is the Windpilot actually making small adjustments? And if so, everybody's happy. But then, what if there is more wind or a lot of wind?
How much of wind is necessary to perform, to make the unit to steer? My answer is straight. If there is a minimum angling to bring this to the side,
which is super loud,
to initiate the turn of the pendulum rudder, even the boat speed of 2 or 2.5 knots will be sufficient to generate power to steer the boat. And the other side of the wall, how much wind will be too much for the unit? I'm saying there is not too much of wind, because the more wind, the more powerful action, the better the steering performance will be. But the unit does not have eyes to monitor a breaking wave, a breaking sea. So if the situation is getting serious, the human eyes will be necessary to take over and to steer breaking waves to get the boat into safety. So this is the magical end where you need to take over by yourself. If you don't do this, and if the boat just steers straight through breaking waves, and in serious weather when everything is deteriorating, the unit is just doing a physical job straight ahead. Sometimes dangerous to have.
So this was the first video in a series of 3 on what does a wind vane actually do, or a Windpilot. Second video will be about what is actually included in the package that I bought. Third video will be how do I put it on my transom, the transom of Windrose. If you want to follow us, hit subscribe. If you like the video, leave a thumbs up. And yeah, I hope to see you in the next episode where we continue the story with Peter. Cheers, boys and girls.
Sailing Windrose.
So before we forget, Happy New Year. Have a good one.